Provision Mentorship is one of several strategic focuses of Provision Solutions Inc. I'm Jim Ewing, and mentorship can make a difference. This is one of several interviews with those who've experienced mentorship. Learn from their experiences. Then take a moment and share your experiences on our blog, Provision Mentorship. We were pleased to get together with Doug Piquette, Executive Director of the Edmonton Regional Immigrant Employment Council, and continue our discussion on some important aspects of mentorship. Thanks for sharing your insights with our audience.
Oh, great. Thanks, Jim. As you said, I've been doing work with immigrants for over 8 years, especially in the area of integration of newcomers, professional newcomers. Prior to that, I've worked in the nonprofit sector in community economic development for about 26 years, working all over rural Alberta and including a short stint in South America. But primarily my work has been in the area of community economic development and seeing people sort of reach their potential, or communities reach their potential, and aspire to their dreams. The Edmonton Region Immigrant Employment Council began in 2008. I was the original executive director, and basically we looked at the beginning was how are we going to help newcomers who are coming to this country mitigate some of the barriers they're facing here in Canada.
There's discussion that goes on from time to time about the advantages or disadvantages to having a formalized versus informal type of a mentoring relationship. And I'm just wondering if from your perspective and what you've seen, do you see any advantage or disadvantage to one over the other, formalized versus informal?
Well, we obviously run a formalized mentorship program, and I think the advantages of the formalized approach is that it may be more strategic in terms of, and explicit in terms of what is expected in that relationship, whereas an informalized mentorship experience, maybe the advantages may be less strategic, but the advantage of an informal mentorship relationship could be that it has more flexibility and may meet needs as they come to be, or as you discover your own sense of what you need. But the formalized approach ensures that we say, okay, well, we've got certain objectives, you as a mentor and I as a mentee, we're going to get 2 or 3 things done in this 4-month relationship. And so it's basically ensuring that those things are done. An informal relationship would be a little bit more, like I say, a little bit more flexible and may have some advantages as opposed to a formalized. Now, the advantage of a formalized program like ourselves, we do a lot of group work. So we have a manual that accompanies the program, and we have a start and an end point. So that, again, it's something that you can plan for, that you can anticipate and count on, or even sort of quantify at the end. It's done. This is what I was able to accomplish, and now I'm moving on. Whereas an informal relationship may be a little bit less outcome oriented, or maybe just a little bit more flexible to the needs that you have.
Is the matching process important to the success of the mentoring relationship or experience? And any thoughts on how to improve that?
It's a big part of what we do in our mentorship program, and we take a lot of care in determining who should be matched with whom. So when we have a civil engineer that is looking for a civil engineer mentor, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to make that match on the outset, looking at both just the skill sets. what we do is we look at some of the background, what kind of work that they've done in civil engineering, and then look at some of the background of, let's say, the mentee. And is there some congruencies or some overlaps or some commonalities that we think that might be a little bit more interesting and make the mentor a little bit more comfortable in providing feedback to the mentee. So we started off by doing a lot of the matching ourselves. We coordinate that. But what we've done since probably for the last year is we've gone to the mentors and shared the resumes with them. And it could be one or two or three folks, and they look at them and they review them and they say, you know, this one gentleman or this one woman, she looks like it could be a good match for me because we have some commonalities, we've worked on similar kinds of projects. I think that match may work better for me. So they become complicit and a part of the selection process. And the idea is that we want these relationships to work. So of course, you know, all of our process is about getting all of the information we can from both the mentor and mentee so that we can make that relationship. But the last part is for the mentor to participate in that selection. And in that way, and it's not a guarantee, believe me, but I think it becomes a little bit more that the mentor takes ownership of the mentored relationship from the beginning.
Is there any success stories or things that just kind of stand out, an experience that you felt was just overwhelmingly positive?
We do over 120 matches a year, so we've got 120 great success stories every year. And but one that comes to mind for me is a gentleman who's originally from Peru and is an electrical engineer. And he went from one day being in our mentorship program and making $12 an hour to the next day working at a fairly major engineering firm here in the city and probably making about $120,000 a year. So that to me says, you know, it's a very sad story to see some of these folks just surviving in our city, but seeing them, you know, sort of having great success and that companies take advantage of their skill sets, their knowledge, their brain trust, and using it to Edmonton's advantage, to the business's advantage, and to see them and his family thrive today here in Edmonton. And I think that says a lot about, certainly I would like to say about our program, but it also says a lot about the city of Edmonton being a welcoming city and a place to make a great start in your career, especially, well, in the case of the mentee, a lot of them have had a great start in their own home countries, so they've had to restart. So I'm proud to say that, you know, we are a part of that picture, that success story, and I'm proud to say that in Canada we do this. We do give people a leg up and using the business community as a part of that solution, and I think that makes a lot of sense.
If someone was thinking of becoming a mentor or looking for a mentor, what words would you pass on to them as they would ponder that scenario?
I would say dive into the pool. It's a transformative experience. I mean, for anybody that's been a mentor in their lives, I think what it does is it takes people and reminds them that they themselves have been mentored at one point and somebody has given them a leg up. And here's an opportunity to give back, but it's beyond that. It is a professional development opportunity. It's a leadership opportunity for you to participate in, and you can be a part of somebody else's story. And I think we can all say that if we look back in our own careers, there have been many that have been part of our own stories, and I would say be a part of somebody else's story.
Doug Piquette, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Jim.
Now it's your turn to share your experience with mentorship. Visit our blog, Provision Mentorship. Make the investment in mentorship today for your success tomorrow.